Alright, so I'm going to make this video just for the case that I can't get this thing fixed and working, just so I can at least show it to you guys. So I found something pretty cool. It's called electronic door lift. It's actually a rebranded Challenger, as you can tell. Very cool machine. This thing, first of all, this thing is really freaking tiny. I can almost, my hand is, it's kind of, I can almost reach across the whole thing with just my hand. I mean, that's how wide it is, no wider than my hand. By the way, I don't think I locked my car. No, I did. Anyways, so yes, this is a Challenger. I guess 1984. This is a model CH-1000. It's a 1/3 horsepower. You've got, of course, your 3 terminals. This had, which I'm very happy to have gotten this. This had an old style multi-code 1090. This receiver is also from 1984. 2 reasons I'm glad I got this is because, one, now this will match up with the old style multi-code remote I have, and hopefully this receiver works, because my other multi-code receiver, the one I got brand new, stopped working. So hopefully this one works. 300 megahertz, obviously. So the motor is right under here, and this is like the worm gear for the opener. It just comes directly off the motor shaft. Actually, that is the motor shaft, is that worm gear. It's just one light socket. There's no light lens for this one that I know of. This is the limit system. It's got, I'm not quite sure what this white plastic lever is for. I don't know if that's something to do with the force. Actually, that might be something for like the down limit, that it turns off, that it disables the force on the last like inch or so of travel. And then this is just the up and down limits, is this metal lever on the front here. And down here, I do have the rail for it. Now, this rail is cut in half. So first, well, actually, let me show you, before I do anything else, let me show you. So this thing doesn't work right now. It just clicks when you try to run it. And let me plug it in here. So it just clicks when I try to run it. And grab a screwdriver to show you. So it's the bottom 2. So you can see. You can hear it clicking, but it doesn't run. Now, if I slide this white piece over, doesn't make a difference. And it doesn't matter if I slide this limit switch. And I'll take the case off of this here and show you inside of it in a minute. But so this is the rail. Whoever took the opener down cut the rail in half. So if I can get the opener working, I am going to have to rebuild this rail. Got to figure out how to do that. Looks like I got home just in time before it started raining. So I have some extra angle back here that I can use to kind of put the 2 pieces together. And the other thing is, at the front of the rail, there's no sprocket or guide at the front, and that's also where the chain would be tightened. I got an extra front pulley from a T-rail, so I'm going to have to try to build something at the front to, one, have an idler and be able to tighten the chain with. This is where the force would be adjusted, is with these wing nuts. This one's for the close, this one open. These are the chain dogs. I only have 2 of them. There's supposed to be another one that would be for the close limit, but well, I think I have extra. I'm pretty sure I have a few extra ones somewhere. I don't know where. And then this is the trolley. Well, let's see. This is the inner slide, and it just slips in right here. That little notch slips around here. And the way I think the disconnect works is, you can see that little pin, that smaller pin there. I think that pin will push the inner slide up and off of this pin so that I can slide out. I think that's how that works. So anyways, I'm going to take the cover off of this opener to show you. Now, I don't know, it could be, this opener could have a bad board, it could have, I already put a new capacitor in it, and that did not fix it. So it could be one of three things, either the board, the motor, or the limit switches. I'm hoping the problem is just with the limit switches. And I'll show you what I mean here. So I'm going to get this cover off. It's just 4 screws. And I'll show you the inside of this. Oh, the other thing I just thought of. Hold on, let me get this last screw out first. I didn't show. So this is essentially the worm gear. The drive gear is there in the rail. And that's also where the sprocket is. So that is definitely, it's pretty neat. Which, by the way, if I can't get this thing fixed, I am going to be sending it to somebody else, which, I mean, this isn't the first Challenger I've seen. They do show up from time to time. I just haven't brought one home yet because they've been, all the other ones I've seen have been buried. Alright, so the cover's off, and flip this over here. So, inside the machine, I mean, it's really simple. You've got your motor, capacitor, board. The limit switches are in the front. Now, if you'll notice, and the way this opener works, as far as I know, so you can see, so first of all, there's a lot of wires going into this motor. There's like 6 different wires for some reason. But essentially, the capacitor has 4 wires on it. 2 of these wires run, there's red and blue wires. 2 of the wires run into the motor. The other 2 wires actually wire into the limit switches. Now, here's what I'm thinking, and this is where I'm hoping it could just be a bad limit switch. For one, I actually, I don't feel any click when I move the limit switch. I don't feel any clicks. And the way this opener works is, so how it decides which direction it's going to move, because there's 2 relays on this. One for the, or I believe there's one of the relays is for running the motor, the other relay is for the light. That's what I think. I don't know. But basically, since the capacitor is wired through the limit switches, one of the limit switches has to be, what am I trying to think? If one of the limit switches is engaged, I believe that would cut power to the capacitor. So I believe the limit switches are normally closed, and when it cuts power to the capacitor, that shuts it off. And then the other limit switch that is not pushed in is what wire it will run through. So what I'm going to try doing is I'm going to try just bypassing those limit switches and just tie the wires directly to the capacitor and see if I can get it to run that way. If it does work that way, then I know it's the limit switches that have failed and I need to replace those. If that doesn't work, I'm going to try to hotwire the motor directly to 120 volts just to see if I can get the motor itself to do anything at all. And if the motor works, then, or if the motor runs that way, then my problem is the board. And if I can't fix the board, then I'm going to be sending this to somebody. But that's the Challenger. So just figured I'd at least show it with this video in case I can't get this thing fixed. If I do get it fixed and working, I'm not going to upload this video. I will upload a video with it actually running. But anyway, that's it.